this second sound told me that the YouTube started, and now we are live with the present show today here. I'm here with Federico Andino, and I'm gonna show him to you immediately. Ciao, Federico.
Hello, Lele. How are you?
I'm very good. This is a present show, so that's a moment for everybody, to learn something about mindfulness. And I'm happy that the mindful part might come at one point during the live. He's mindful elsewhere in this moment, and last week we didn't manage to meet, so I'm happy you could come here. Where are you located, Federico?
I am located in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Last time, I apologize. There was some issue with the daylight savings time, so I basically was waiting for half an hour after the show stopped.
Yeah, but you are also on the other part of the world, so it's from
Right.
Bratislava to Buenos Aires, and we are all together live. But let's start our present show. I have an idea to ask you today. So first,
Sure.
you are a project manager in IBM, right?
Right.
But same time, you are a practitioner of mindfulness. And also in your
Right.
private life, mindfulness and the practice and meditation is something that is really part of your daily, let's say, routine, if we can say that. So, tell us something more about you, and how can you manage as well, to balance work and life and mindfulness at the same time.
Well, I came to mindfulness through a roundabout way. Basically, I'm Buddhist. After I did my computer science education, I started another kind of education, looking more for what is mind, basically, to understand what is mind and what is our mind, so to speak. So in that roundabout way, I became a Buddhologist and a Buddhist, and I started learning. I'm the resident teacher for quite a big group from here in Argentina, the Sake tradition. And what happened is that my teacher started saying, "Okay, you do this work." He's a monk. I'm not a monk. I have a kind of ordination. So he said, "You are in the world. Let's try to bring this meditation, these good qualities that meditation have, to your life, to the people that are around you." And say, "Okay, but traditional Buddhism is a little bit too religious for a lot of people." So he said, probably you should try to learn a little bit of psychology and mindfulness, which are kind of the secular way that the West are doing. And say, okay, I'll give it a try. So I did a master's, and then I started my formation in mindfulness. I started about 10 years, not so long. And I started slowly bringing it into IBM, starting in 2010, doing small groups. And after a while, I also started teaching workshops and classes. So I have this kind of three things in good meditation, right? My Buddhist training and my Buddhist practice, the practice within IBM and the practice outside IBM. So it's been quite right. It's been quite good. But at some point, all the streams kind of converge into one, and now it's just one thing.
So let me understand, because that was also a question I was asking to Pat last time. Was
Sure.
because many people might be not scared, but not so comfortable with the fact that there is some religion within mindfulness. Because I have my own religion. I don't want to get somewhere, but it's really important. Mindfulness doesn't have anything to do, or it has something to do from the Buddhist tradition, but it's not Buddhism and religion, right? So how this detached from Buddhism and the mindfulness as such?
Well, here's how we better see it. Basically, meditation is a birthright of everyone. It's not about a religion, right? Everyone
Mm-hmm.
can meditate, and it's just part of being a human being. What mindfulness has from Buddhism is that the technique itself comes from Buddhism. And
Mm-hmm.
yet, we have tried a little bit hard to basically express it in non-religious terms. That's why, for example, I did a master's in psychoanalysis. So when I present mindfulness, either in at IBM or on my workshops, I try to explain it in a more secular and more layman terms. So I'm not bringing this religious part in, because the technique itself is the same, but the framework from which you see it, it's totally different. That's the
Mm-hmm.
basic difference.
So let's say that now these techniques of mindfulness are we
Mm-hmm.
saw in the previous present shows are really benefiting productivity, the capability to focus, the capability to communicate and to be a better communicator. So what in our case, in your world, what would you say about this? So how mindfulness helps from your perspective, that could help every IBM or everyone that is watching
Right.
the present show to change or to improve their own the quality of their work.
Well, this is something that takes a little bit even with the question before. Let's think of yoga, right? Yoga, it's kind of it came from a religion and it's not religious anymore. Mindfulness is the same, and it has the same kind of benefits, just more so for us Westerns. For example, what does mindfulness brings to us? It brings, first of all, better focus. This is
Hmm.
something great, and the focus, what it does is give us less stress. When we have better focus, when we try to struggle a little bit less, our life starts to become better and it starts to become more enjoyable. And so we don't suffer through the day. Actually, we enjoy the day, that which something will be great. And we stop feeling alienated from our work and start feeling meaning in our work. So once you start getting meaning, you start enjoying yourself, you become naturally more productive because basically what you're doing is something like, hey, Pat, how are you, mate?
Oh, at the
L-
same time, mindful part
So,
came in. So
right.
we are talking about that the mindfulness is helping you to have a better focus, and I asked Federico what it means, what it brings mindfulness to the work from his perspective, right? So what are the real benefits of it?
So you get focus. Focus helps you become less stressed, right? Because you don't have to struggle to keep on the day. So you become less stressed. You start enjoying more. You start enjoying more. You start finding meaning in your work. And you start finding some things that perhaps you didn't like to do, and perhaps they're meaningless. So you get the equanimity to just put them aside. So once you start finding meaning and enjoyment in your work, you become more creative because it's more like play, right? And then you start enjoying yourself and helping others to enjoy. It's natural to communicate. So in the end, you basically your life becomes richer. That's the basic thing of mindfulness. You start to enjoy your life instead of going through it, right? Like and trying to get to the end of the day.
You brought an interesting term that I consider it that it didn't come earlier in our show. It's the concept of equanimity. Can you explain it to us?
Hmm.
I think it's very important to know what it
Well,
is.
equanimity, right? Equanimity is a kind of balance that one has, and it basically means that you don't invest too much energy and too much motion into each thing that comes to you. For example, something comes and someone is a little bit angry, and someone perhaps communicates strongly. And if you're not a good holder in an equanimous position, what you will have is, okay, he treated me wrong, and then I'm going to say something, but I can't, and you get attached to all the feelings of anger, of wrath, of different things that you get, and you basically poison yourself for the rest of the day. But if you have equanimity, you'll say, okay, this guy didn't treat me quite right, but it's probably something that he's carrying, and so okay, I will try to help him if I can. Okay, I will let him go. You don't become so attached to things, or you don't try to avoid something so much, and then you're naturally more balanced, right? You receive and you enjoy things, and if things work out, sorry.
just building on what you're saying, it goes the other way also, that you don't get overly excited. You know, you hear somebody say, oh, Patrick, you might get this new position, and then I'm just like, oh, I'm going to get this new position, and you're not thinking about anything else, and you're becoming very bold and less humble, and going around boosting your ego that I got this new position, and then it doesn't happen,
Right.
right? Then you're just crushed, failure, and sad and everything. So it's being balanced both ways, right? In the very euphoric way and also in the very
Hmm.
negative way.
There is a small story, a small joke that Louis C.K. tells. He went once in a plane, and it was the first time they had high-speed internet on the plane. So everyone is like very excited. Oh, this is great. So it starts surfing and they come to a cloud and they just lose connection for, I don't know, 5 minutes. So one guy throws the tablet and said, "Oh, this is a disaster." And he said, "But you didn't have it earlier. You didn't expect it to have it, and now it's such a big issue. You don't have it 5 minutes." This is what the community says: "Is okay, relax. I didn't expect it. It's great. I lose it. Okay, just about how it is." And I think it's one of the keys for us to become a better person. I think, not only a better worker, a better colleague, but a better person. Just take
And
things as they come.
how can I be more mindful about it? So what would you suggest to, if I would really like to not be so attached to the thing, so to not be have so much emotional reaction, maybe in during my daily work with an angry mail from my boss or somebody that doesn't do what I really wanted them to do or something like so. How can I be mindful about my state in order that then I react a different way as I do now?
Well, there's several techniques. With Pat, we always teach a little bit of things. If you like, we can do a small meditation on our feelings today, just right now.
Sure.
Excellent. So let's sit comfortably, and you can close your eyes if you like. If you not, you can leave it open. And let's take 3 breaths just to get in the body. 1 and 2 and 3. And now let's try to feel how our body feels, because emotions are usually kept in the body. How is your back feeling? Is it tense? Is it relaxed? How are our stomach feelings? Is our stomach fluttering or acid or what? Or how it's feeling? Do we have any thoughts that come into our mind constantly? Are we getting hung up on something? Or are we enjoying ourselves? We sit for a couple seconds with these questions. And then we get back in the body, back in the breath, and we open our eyes. So,
And
how did it feel,
and
guys?
yeah,
I
I
feel
think I feel good.
I
That's
feel good
true.
too.
So
If
you go on, but
so, if I could articulate it in a more simple way, but basically you try to do that in a few seconds. So you stop and you reflect how you're feeling, how you're thinking, and become the observant. And then you know if you're becoming more this way or becoming more that way. And you're not letting the thoughts and the emotions control you. If you think about our mind in a way that you're on a busy street, you're standing on the busy street and there's cars just going voo, 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 right? Left, right, left, right. Those are thoughts, those are emotions. And what we do is we hold on to these cars as they go by, right? And then we jump from that one. Oh, my boss. Oh, the weekend. Oh, I just did that. If you can take a step back and be present, be aware that there's these cars going around, but you're still here, you're still centered, then you can decide which car I'm going to pick, right?
Mhm.
How am I going to react? So maybe that's an easy metaphor to know.
Right.
And
Usually,
that's
what I
actually a
always
great mindful minute.
thank
Sorry,
you.
Federico,
Just
please.
one thing is there's one thing I always say is pay attention to your body, because your body knows. You might not, but your body at some point knows how you feel. That's, I think, it's the what Pat says. When you can pick the car, your body will let you know.
Good. I like that. Your body knows.
And that's actually the good sentence to stop. So one thing I would share with everybody that not is not only skeptical about it, but doesn't know about what is mindfulness. This was a very interesting minute you can do every single day, or in the moment where you are like that, and yeah, try it. Try just to close your eyes for 30 seconds. You put the timer if you really don't want more, and enter in your body, feel it, and you will really change the approach on what things you are gonna do in, because you will be much more mindful about what is around you. So with this, I would really like to thank a lot Federico for being here with us. It has been
Thank you,
a
Federico.
pleasure for us to have you in the show. Thank you, Mindful Pat, as well. The present show is as well always here with you. Also next Monday again another time. So meanwhile, enjoy the day, be mindful, and have fun.
Thank you.